Hello. 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 Hello, everybody. Hi, welcome. Still have a couple more people that are trickling in. Did you have a good Easter, Lena? Awesome. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Right. Yeah, I had a good Easter. How about you?
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, for sure. How about you, Gail? How was your Easter?
It was good. Good. Can't complain. And you had a good one. That's all that matters.
Hey, yeah, for sure. No, it was definitely it was nice. It was really quiet. More time off. My son's spring break, they ran it late. So they were kind of in the later part of the month, and so it ran into Easter as well. So it was nice having him at home. Yeah. How are you, Jean?
I'm good. It's a busy year end for me, so hopefully it'll be over in 2 days.
Woohoo! Oh, well, I'm excited for yeah, yeah, tax season. Hey.
No, I work for the federal government. It's just fiscal year end.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and then they shortened our timelines. We normally have like 2 weeks, but we only had days with a long weekend in there.
Oh, Oh.
So it's been kind of hectic.
Well, I'm glad that you're gonna have some time to decompress. For sure. How are you doing, Lanny?
Great, thanks.
Awesome. It's good to see you. How's Salt Spring?
Oh, fabulous. Fabulous every day. Blessed to wake up here, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And how are you doing, Andrea?
I'm great, thank you. How's everybody?
Yeah, good, for sure. And Carolyn, welcome.
Thank you.
Yay. It's nice to have you here. Awesome. We're just waiting for Cindy. She's in the waiting room, but it says joining, but it's taken a long time. And then I think Elizabeth is coming as well. So this is going to be fun because we are going to get into the art of tarot reading. So this is where we start to take the meanings of the cards and like we put them together in spreads and start working with them for our own personal development. And also we're going to be learning how to do readings for each other and other people as well. So it's going to be a really great opportunity to dive right in to the cards. So how are you guys feeling with the kind of the meaning of the cards? How is that feeling for you? Like, okay, like if you out of 10, how many, like 10 being like like, yes, I know 100%. And like 1 being like none. Okay. 50%, 70%. Awesome.
Maybe I know.
Five.
Okay.
I know most of the meanings. Not all of them. I have to brush up. It was a long time ago that I read. I used to read a lot, and then I took this long gap, like of 20 years. So, and it's coming back to me. But I have one spread, and that's it. So I'm here to learn more.
Cool. Well, I got lots of spreads for you. And did anyone get a chance to check out the PDF?
No.
Yes. So, and if you didn't get it, I'll resend it out as well. Awesome. So I'm going to bring this up here. I'm just going to hit share screen and then we're going to get started. Lovely and present. This is going to work perfectly. You can do it. Oh, there we go. Awesome. Oh, this is a little bit forward. Let's go back. Awesome. So we're going to be talking a lot today about the different rituals that are in connection with tarot reading. So over the course of the next month, we're going to be talking about tarot spreads, and that's what we're going to be doing today. Next week, we're going to be understanding reversals. So we're going to be taking at some different ways to be able to look at reversals so that you can be able to make your own choice or decision about how you want to use them. Some people use reversals and some people don't. So you get to decide, and it'll give you the opportunity to take a deeper look at that. The week after, we're going to be connecting the cards. So when we get cards that are beside each other, each card has a meaning, and then together they also have another meaning. So that's a really cool way to deepen your knowledge really quickly. And then to finish things off, we're going to be diving more into the intuitive patterns, taking a look at the numerology and storytelling, and also starting to read intuitively. So we are going to be doing practice sessions together today and using some breakout rooms so that you guys can start to use these spreads. Awesome. So this is part 1. Here we go. Lovely. So our goals over the 4-week course, learn how to give a tarot reading. And so I'm going to walk you through it from start to finish so that you feel like you can really find your flow, find your way of being able to move within it. Then that'll be really fun. And then, of course, it's all about deepening our connection, because once you know the meanings, it's the application of the meanings that get really fun. And I love that part of it. And then what we are going to work on is how to answer the following questions. So how do you connect with spirit? What kind of messages do you bring through, and what's your style of reading? So for myself, I'm a psychic medium. I'm clairvoyant, so I see visions that come forward. I'm also clairaudient, which means that I hear little messages that will pop into my ear. And I have clairsentience, which means clear feelings. So sometimes I get different sensations or feelings in my body. Especially this helps me where there is blocked energy. I'm an inspirational reader. So I like to focus on the positive to help to inspire people to tap into their greatest good and allow those messages to be able to come forward from there. So that's what I want you guys to be able to learn is like, what is your like 2 minutes? This is what I do, because it's a really important question, especially when you're reading for others, just to be able to describe what they can be able to expect from a session. Awesome. So clearing your deck. Does everybody have their decks? Hold them high.
I'll go get mine.
Okay, no problem. Awesome. Beautiful. I'm just gonna change this up so I can see everybody here. There we go. Awesome. Cool. So who here has worked with smudging before? Andrea has, Lanny.
I have.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. So smudging is awesome. And I try to smudge my cards at the beginning of every day of sessions. And I also smudge myself before I start. So smudging is using something, there's many different things that you can use. This here is sweetgrass. If you have really sticky energy in your house, this is what you want. This is like the Lysol of smudging tools. It can get out everything. So sweetgrass is really great for sticky energy. I also really like Palo Santo, which is a type of tree from South America, and it's what's used by shamans there. Also sage, and we have lots of sage that grows around British Columbia. Or I really like white buffalo sage just because the smell is so beautiful. If you're in a pinch, you can use bay leaves. And that is another way of being able to clear. So you can grab bay leaves from your cupboard, you can like light it up. And the invocation that I use is that may all negative energy attached to the smoke rise and disappear. So it's setting the intention of wanting to clear the energy and clearing your space as well. So it is important when we start to get into reading, just to make sure that that you're in a good space, right? Because it's for us, it's a lot about letting go of what happened during the day or what we're going to be making for dinner or these kinds of things, and just allowing for our space to be clear so that we can get our ego out of the way and just allow for those beautiful messages to be able to flow. So in a pinch, a couple other easy ways of being able to clear the deck is you take the deck and you just go like this. So let's do it all together. Just give it a little knock. There we go. And that's just like, again, it's just like I'm clearing out the energy. And so very simple, very easy way. And I sometimes like to do this like between clients. And if I don't have enough time to smudge again, a little knock is just helping to clear all the old energy from the last person and allow for the new pure energy to come forward. Other quick things that you can do, you can blow on it. Yeah. So that is, again, just like putting your intention into the card. The breath is very powerful. Of course, the breath is the first thing that we do when we come into this world, and it is the last thing that we do when we leave. So our breath is a very strong symbol of spirit. White light is great for everything. And you can use white light again with your cards, with visualization. So it's just visualizing white light around your cards. You can also visualize bringing in the white light from your crown chakra filling up your whole body and then have it coming out of your hands. So very similar to like, do you guys remember the Care Bears? You know, the Care Bear stare when they did with it with their tummies. So, you know, it's the same thing, but we're just directing the energy out of our hands, and then we're just taking that energy and we're putting it into the deck. So if you know Reiki or any kind of energy healing, that is another quick and easy way that you can be able to clear your cards. And then the last thing that I use is a singing bowl. And you could also use a chime or a bell, anything that has like a sound, a tuning fork. Yeah, beautiful, for sure. You could put that right on the end too and get all the vibrations through the cards.
I'm going to ask how that works because, you know, of course, this is when you bang it. And then what do you do?
So after you bang it, just like you can take it and put the bottom part of it right on the cards.
Okay. So I'm just
And
gonna-
that'll allow the forks to keep vibrating, and that'll put the vibrations into the deck.
Okay, so I would go like this after I banged it.
I would do it the other way.
This way.
Yeah, for sure. And then the forks will keep vibrating, and then it'll move down the metal and into the cards. Yeah. But yeah, it's like, you know, sound is so beautiful. If you don't have a singing bowl, don't worry. You can use an Aum, because like Aum is another beautiful way of being able to clear a space. So we're going to do this all together. I want you to think about breathing in right below your belly button, getting your singing voices together. We're going to breathe in and beautiful. And so that's another way that you can clear a space too. Like, you know, if you're reading at somebody else's house and you're not too embarrassed to do an Aum, you know, that's another really great way. And like little tricks, just so that you're clearing the space and preparing your space to give a session. Awesome. Any questions about that?
Oh, can you define sticky energy?
Okay. Have you ever been in a place where you get this little tiny voice in your head and you get this thought and it keeps going over and over and over?
Like obsessive thinking?
Obsessive thinking is one of the ways,
Okay.
or you walk in and all of a sudden you get a whoomp, like right on your heart chakra, like, you know, like heavy kind of energy. So it's anything that just kind of feels like, ooh. So if you
Okay.
get an ooh kind of feeling, then like, you know, then get out the heavy hitter, get out the sweet grass.
Okay. Okay.
And start clearing that away. But essentially, like, you know, sticky energy is like, there's like heavy energy, which is more like kind of like emotional sort of energy. And then like sticky energy, I find is just more like it starts to affect your head. So you can start to feel like really insecure or just kind of close up or, you know, these kinds of things. So it's just something to have awareness around if there is sticky energy in the room, because it's possible, especially if you're going into a space that you don't know. What I find is that your space will start to really tune in with your frequency. So the more that you open up your channel and you do work in the same space, what happens is that space just becomes accustomed to it. And so that's why it's nice to have like a little spot or a little corner or, you know, just a little area that's kind of like your sacred space. So like, you know, here I've got my crystals back here, and I've got my grandfather's lamp as well. So just like small things. I always have crystals on the table. So this is my Lemurian seed crystal. Then I've got a Reiki wand that has some amethyst in it and a little bit of fire opal from Australia. And then the last one I have is a fuchsite with rubies. So these are things that I take with me in order to define my sacred space for myself. This helps me to feel more comfortable, and that's really necessary when you're reading for someone else. And especially at first, like it's okay to get nervous. And like I've been doing this for 14 years and I still get nervous before some sessions, okay? So like, you know, what it means is that like, you know, that you really, you care, you want to do a good job, right? So like, just know that once you start to like get in the moment and like, you know, as soon as your ego's out of the way and you're not thinking, all the nerves just completely go away because you're just there and it's just like moving through you. So I would equate it to something like music when you're doing a musical performance, you know, before you get up on stage, it's like, oh, and then you get up on stage and you're just doing your thing and then your thing is just happening, right? And you don't have time to be like thinking about, oh, is this good or not? Because you're just in the moment. So yeah, awesome. Any other questions about clearing your deck?
No, I would like to know is where would you get something like
Mhm.
sweetgrass or sage?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So there's many metaphysical shops will have it. Jeanne, what area are you in?
I'm in the West Coast and you Ucluelet.
Hewitt. Okay, who has it up there? I know there's another woman up there that does tarot, so maybe she you could talk to her. I know there's places in Port Alberni that have it.
Okay.
There's like a little metaphysical store there,
Oh, sure.
and
Okay.
you can always order it online.
Okay.
So when
Oh,
getting things like Palo Santo and
Oh,
sage,
deep
you really want to check your sources.
Mhm.
Okay, because like Palo Santo, they're not supposed to cut down the tree in order to make a smudge out of it. They're
Mhm.
supposed to only scavenge for trees that have fallen over. So, of course, being that it's South America, you're going to have positive sources and you're going to have not positive sources. And the same thing with sage as well. You can even harvest it yourself, especially the Okanagan is just full of it. You go down through like Merritt and Kamloops and that area, all through Alberta, and you can be able to pick some sage. Then you cut it and then you dry it out. But you can get white buffalo sage at even places like Lifestyles or like a herb shop should have it as well. But just if you can, check the source, like, you know, where is this coming from? And that can be helpful. Yeah, awesome. Anybody else?
I was just wondering how long do you do the burning or whatever when you do your sage, you know, like
Okay.
when you light it and then you're supposed to do it, do you do it about 5 minutes or just after a reading or what's that?
Okay.
How long do you let it burn?
I let it burn. Like sage will tell you when it's ready to go out. But this is the tricky part because a place that really needs to get sage can really get smoky fast. So if it's at your place, you're going to want to make sure that you open all of the doors and windows when you get the smudge going, especially if you haven't done one for a long time. And then when it just like kind of naturally stops burning, that's spirit's way of telling you that you don't need to burn anymore. When using something like Palo Santo, I find it's a little bit quicker. So because it's like a harder wood. So when you light it, it's like lighting it up, getting the smoke going, using the smoke to be able to clear your cards or clear your crystals. And then once it goes out, then you're all done. And if you find with smudge, especially sage, because you can get like the bundles, they can go for a long time. So once you kind of get the feel that it's like, okay, no, you know what, this feels good, then you can like, you know, tap it in some water or those kinds of things. So there's really no right or wrong way. For me, there's something about the smell. So you have that beautiful fragrance and it's like, like it just puts me into that relaxation kind of mode. So you could use like essential oils as well. There's many different sprays and these kinds of things to be able to clear the space too.
If you're using bay leaves, do you burn them?
Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
So if you like burning things, smudging is the way to go. It's really fun.
Have you ever cleansed with incense sticks?
Cleanse your incense sticks.
No, using sticks, but the smoke to cleanse your cards. No?
I use the smoke to cleanse my cards. Yeah.
You could use an incense. Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. Anything that really like, there is no wrong or right way to do it. It's just really setting the intention, right? So if you're setting the intention by like, I'm using this beautiful incense that I love to be able to clear the cards, absolutely, that's going to work too.
So do you put the bay leaves in a bowl and then just wave the cards over the bowl when it's burning, or how do you like? Is there not? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you could like pick it up in your hand and just make sure you have like a metal bowl or something that's not flammable underneath. And that's a really nice thing when you're smudging is like make sure that it's like it's over some kind of plate or platter that is not going to melt or or burn, and have water close by too. Just for fire safety is always important. So like with bay leaves, you can just pick it up by the end because you get the little stem on them sometimes. And then you can just kind of like burn the end. And when it gets too close, you can blow it out or just put it on the plate or platter.
I always used to just shuffle my deck a lot right after a reading to try and get rid of the energy from the last deck. That's
Beautiful.
what I've always done, but I don't know if that works good enough. I should try adding some smudging.
Play with it. Just play and see like, you know, kind of what feels right. Because like definitely shuffling the cards is a way of like mixing up the energy and getting the old out and then just allowing for the new to come forward. But it really is more about the intention. Is that like, what is my intention with like, you know, with the cards? And by just having a ritual that you put in place around clearing your deck, it will help to clear the energy.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, and I will bring some. I will bring all my smudging supplies next week, and I'll light it up for you so you can see what it looks like. Awesome. So shuffling your deck. So this is the next thing that comes forward. So choices that come forward around this. And so with tarot and creating your own personal ritual, you can choose to let others touch your deck or not let people touch your deck. That's totally up to you. Okay. Are you choosing, like, you know how sometimes when you're like shuffling and then like a card flies out on the table, do you choose to use that card or not? Right. So that's another choice that you get to make if that feels right in using it or maybe not. And the other part comes in around choosing the cards is, do you get your client to choose the cards or do you choose the cards for your clients? So this is more to do with like in-person sessions. Of course, the readings that we're going to be doing tonight, where we're going to be using our own decks and we're going to be choosing for the other person. But again, it's just coming up with your little ritual around that. So I used to have people shuffle my deck, but then what I was finding is that sometimes people are a little bit rough with your deck. And like for me, this is a really, really special deck. And for years, I couldn't find another copy of it. So I changed my ritual. So instead of getting the person to shuffle the deck, what I would do is that I would shuffle it, and I like to do the, you know, the rip with them. But you can also just like, you know, like take them and like move them around. Again, whatever feels right for you. So what I would do is I would shuffle the deck 3 times, and then I would pass the cards over to the client, and then I would just ask them to put them into 3 piles. And in that way, by having the 3 piles in place, and it just kind of looks like this. Here we go. Just having the 3 piles in place. And then I'd be like, okay, and now put them back together. So I get them to put them back together. And then beautiful. And what I was finding is that there was a lot less wear on my cards because I did have a woman that was really rough with my cards and bent one of them. So at that point, I changed my ways. So you are definitely allowed to change yours as well. So after I get the cards back in the 3 pile, what I do is I usually take them back and add my energy back. So I will take it and fold it once in half. And then what I used to do before COVID was that I'd get them to blow on the top of the deck. So they were then infusing the energy again with their energy in the cards. cards, and then I like to spread them out, and then we start from there. Yeah, Cindy.
Oh, no, I don't have a question.
Oh,
You-
sorry. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like to let other people shuffle my cards, but I'm not naturally clairvoyant like you are or anything like that. And I find that if I let the other person shuffle the cards, the cards go into the proper order according to them. And I can't seem to do it very well if I shuffle them alone. Like I've tried, and I don't seem, and like cutting a deck isn't enough. Maybe if they messed it up a little more, but I can't seem to get it to work for me if I'm the shuffler. Somehow my energy must be too much in the way. I don't know how to shift it to being where I can read. I can just be the sole shuffler. For me, I don't know how to get that to work. I've seen other people do it, but I can't. Maybe
Okay.
there's a trick I'm missing. I don't know.
Did you try asking Spirit to shuffle it on their behalf?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I always clear the energy by asking the spirits, but I never thought about that.
Yeah, so just ask, like you can even ask permission. Do I have permission to be able to shuffle these cards on behalf of this person?
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of another like easy way is just like, if you ever get like blocked on anything, just ask, is this okay? Does this like, and spirit always has a way of being able to let you know. Because I find like there's really, when choosing the cards, you're never going to make a mistake. I know sometimes I've seen readers where they pick out all the cards and then they get their pendulums out and they pendulum each of the cards to get a yes or no. Is this the right card or not? But I trust Spirit is that if there's a card that shows up, that's the card that needs to be read. There have been cases when I have done a spread and laid out the cards and it just didn't feel right. And like, in those cases, I'll just pick up the cards and I'll just reshuffle them and do it again. So if you find that the first spread, like there's just something about it that doesn't resonate, or if you start reading for the person and it's not resonating for them, don't feel bad about reshuffling it and redrawing the cards. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, so those are the choices that you're going to want to think about. For today's purpose, we'll just do like, something simple with just like, shuffling the cards in any way that you choose. And then put the cards into 3 piles. Put the cards back together again. If you guys want to practice this together, let's do it all together. So let's take the cards and let's give them a little shuffle. Awesome. Beautiful. And then once you feel like you've given them a good shuffle, then we're going to put them in 3 piles in any which way. And you'd be surprised how many different ways there are to put cards into 3 piles. Because you can do it like, again, there's no wrong way, right? So you can do it this way. You can put them this way. I've seen people do that this way. So, you can find kind of like a way that, again, is like, your own kind of personal style. Because that's what it's about too, is like, finding the flow and finding your style for what you like, unless you're like super traditional. Okay. So if you're super traditional, then what you're going to be doing is that you're not going to be using your dominant hand to touch any of the cards, and you're going to be using your non-dominant hand to be able to choose the cards. So again, that is completely up to you to decide how you choose to be able to conduct your session that way. Awesome. Fantastic. So moving right along. So prayer or intention. I find that this is another really important part, is just to set the intention for what it is that you want to be able to bring through and what kind of messages that are really important for you overall. So what I do is that I do this like right before I ask them if they have any questions or topics that they want to talk about. So I'm just holding the cards and I just say, I ask that our guardian angels, spirit guides, and ancestors join us for this reading today. We wish to connect to the infinite wisdom of the Akashic records and the divine source of all creation. May all the messages that come through be of love, light, healing, and accuracy for the greatest good of all. So you can use whatever language works for you. Some people like God, some people like goddess, some people like creator, universe, whatever. I really think that it's just like we get stuck in language, right? And that we're all talking about the same thing. So it's like, you know, that finding the name of source energy that really resonates for you. And again, you can use these intermixed. Spirit, universe, those are my main go-tos, source, divine, you know, these kinds of things. Some people like goddess. I find goddess is too limiting, and I find God is way too limiting too. So they don't have a God X yet, but you know, maybe they will soon. Yeah.
Can I share what I always say?
Yeah, please do.
I'm not Christian, so when I say God, I mean the highest form of good, which is defined in the. I always say, what did I say again? Now I drew a blank. Only those spirits that follow in the footsteps of God, the highest form of good, may be here. All other energy must leave. To give me a truthful reading for the person in front of me, for so and so, whoever it is. And then that's, you know, I just want to always insist that the negative energy has to leave. Out, go away.
For sure.
That's what I do. Just in case
Awesome.
someone wants to use that.
Okay. Anybody else have any other invocations or prayers that they use? Okay. And you're going to discover them as you go too, and you're going to discover like what works for you. Within like my beliefs, I really believe that the high vibrations will always transmute the lower ones. So like, you know, if we focus on that sense of light, that it's just going to take anything that's kind of, you know, sticky, dark, and it's going to bring it up to the light. Because like, you know, darkness is just a place where the light hasn't got to yet. So it just needs more love. Awesome.
Yeah, but you're a very happy, kind of bubbly person, so that would naturally work that way for you, and I'm not. So that's why I have to insist on things leaving, because I don't have that natural, I'm so happy and the love comes. I wish I did. That would be so good. But if you don't have that, that's another way to do it, I think. It's just insist the negative stuff leave. That's
Totally.
just I'm trying to help.
No, I like it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
for sure. Yeah, there's no wrong way to do this. You have to like, you know, do what really feels right for you. And if like, you know, making sure that that negative energy is like out and like banished right from the start, go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Awesome. So let's talk ethics for a moment. Because I feel like this is very important. As a psychic for 14 years, I've had to undo a lot of readings. So there are psychic scams out there. Unfortunately, this is just kind of a part of the industry. Every once in a while through Victoria, we will get people that will remove your curse with a couple of crystals for all the money that you have, right? And so there are like psychics that use like the curse scam, which is you've got a curse, I can remove it for you, just like give me all your money, right? Has anybody heard of those scams that are out there? Okay, it does happen, and usually those people don't stick around in town very often.
You say that's awful. It's awful.
I know, it's really terrible. And then they come to me thinking that they're cursed. And it's like, because like what happens is that those people can be psychic too, right? So it's a matter like with the magician, right? Do you put on the white hat or do you put on the black hat? Which is like, you know, always the choice, because you can use these gifts in both ways, right? Like you think about a lot of really successful like businessmen, a lot of them have a lot of psychic abilities, and so they're using their energy in that way. So first and foremost, like, get consent or permission. If you're picking up messages from for somebody, or you're feeling something, just ask them if it's okay, that, like, that you tell them. And, like, if they say no, then the answer is no. So, like, really, like, get consent from them. So when I first kind of like woke up to my like psychic abilities, I was in my early 20s. And of course, in my early 20s, I was still partying a lot. So I was at a bar one night, and I went up to this guy, and I just started reading him and telling him about his 2 kids and their ages and on and on. I freaked him out. Right. And like, I don't know. I feel like that's an abuse of power. So I do feel like it's really important to make sure that like that you ask if it's okay, because it's intrusive when somebody is like getting into your energy field and like picking up on personal and private information. It's a little bit like and so that's why like I watch, like, has anyone seen Long Island Medium? And you know how sometimes like I'm sure a lot of it is set up, right? That she knows who she's going to be reading for in different shows, but like she'll just go up and start telling people about random spirits that are around them. And if you've been in Victoria long enough, there's many people that will come up to you and just start giving you a psychic reading. I think this happens to me more because I usually advertise that I'm a psychic, so they feel it's okay. But again, it's just one of those things just to be reminded of, is like, make sure that you're being kind and gentle, because for some people it's really scary. Lanny.
Yeah, can you, like, I've convinced myself that I do this whole little ritual before I go out around people, but can you stop people from being able to read you?
You can. Yeah, I would say that if you're not wanting people to read you, you're going to be wanting to put up like mirror shields. So essentially, like what that is that like, like there's using the armor, how you have the silver armor is like, one way of like psychic protection. What I would do is I would put up mirrors all around that, so that they're only seeing back what, like, what they're wanting to see. You can also just like, if somebody is like prying, you can tell their spirits and guides, like, you don't have permission to be here, leave now.
Okay.
So, so that people aren't kind of like getting into your energy space. If it gets like really severe, then you want to take a look at like binding the person so that they're not looking at you, and looking into your energy field. And essentially what that is that like it's writing their name or getting their picture on a piece of paper, putting it up against a mirror, wrapping it with twine, throwing it in an old sock, and like throwing it in the back of your closet or digging a hole in the backyard and putting it back there. So that's for people that are psychic invaders, right? There's like, there's people out there that aren't necessarily conscious of these abilities that they have, that like, you can talk to spirit and you can talk to your guides and you can say, no, they do not have permission to read me. They do not have permission to be in my energy field.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
I was told to put on a bubble.
Yeah, I like the bubble. Absolutely. White light bubble is like, white light bubbles
like
are your friend.
Like gum, or bounces off, send the negative energy back into the universe with love. That's what I was told to do.
Absolutely. And I love like the white light bubble for especially for like psychic shielding as well. So, I'll put up a bubble of white light, and then I'll visualize on the outside a golden shimmer. And then I'll set the intention that any negative energy that wants to come into my bubble, that it bounces off my bubble, transforms into love, and is returned home to sender. So it's another way of just being able to move the energy, right? Because like energy, it only gets like stuck when it has something to stick to. So if there's already like, you know, if like we already feel like really like paranoid around people tapping into our energy, then somebody tapping into our energy, it's going to be a little bit harder to get that unstuck. Right? Whereas if we just say like, no, this is not happening, that will actually take care of a lot. And it's the same thing with like any kind of spirits. Like if you run into like some ghosts or spirits, we're the physical beings. They're on the other side. We're the ones that are in charge because we're matter, essentially. So just know that, like, you know, like with like white light and like really firm boundaries, that like, you know, that you don't have to worry about like, you know, dark spirits or these kinds of things. Cause I don't really even buy into it. It's just more, I just see it like spirits that are hurt, right? That's why ghosts stick around, is that they've got trauma. So they need love. And if you do come across like, you know, like sticky spirit energy, one of the things that I do to help them out is I create a portal of white light, and then I just ask them to go to the light. Because that's essentially what they're looking for when they come to me, is they need acknowledgement or recognition so that they can start to move from this world to the next, because they just get stuck. Cool. So when you are reading for someone, please be kind and be gentle. And remember that when you're like playing around in somebody's like, you know, energy field, that like, you know, you want to do your best to filter your words. Okay. Things that I've heard so many terrible things. So this one lady was coming to get a reading, and she was so scared to get a reading with me. Why? Because a relative of hers had done a reading for her and told her that her daughter's firstborn was going to die. You don't do that. You don't do that to anybody. Like, I don't care if you feel like you're 100% with that, you know, like what you can say is like, you know, oh, maybe you should like, you know, like when the baby comes, just, you know, make sure you go to the doctors and get everything checked out, like these kinds of things. But like, don't tell anybody that they're going to die. Don't tell anybody that they're going to get a serious illness, or like, or injury, or like car accident, or these kinds of things. Because often these are things that we can't change. And so one of the intentions that I always set is that, and this is the deal I made with Spirit a long time ago, is that if I can't change it, I don't want to know. And by putting like seeds of fear like that in people, that's going to do a lot of harm. So that's why it's better to have the intention of helping, and to really plant positive seeds. This world has so much negativity in it already. And like sometimes people, they need to connect to their light. Like, you know, that's a big part of the work that we do, is connecting people to the light, connecting people to their truth. And then as we do that, like, you know, everything opens up for them. So the other part is that if don't answer questions that you don't have the knowledge for. So like, AKA if somebody's asking you like legal advice to how to proceed in their trial, refer them to a lawyer. Right? Like, you know, you can like, you know, give them like the energy feel overall of what's going on. But like, you know, if they are needing like actual legal advice, send them to a lawyer. Same thing if they have like medical issues that are going on, like, you know, always send them to a doctor. If you get like, you know, like a feeling or these kinds of things about something that it could be, you can tell them an area to look in their body, but don't tell somebody that they have cancer. Okay. You know, things that I've heard through being in this industry for a while. So you really want to just really speak from the heart, because that's a really important thing. And just really think about what it would feel like if somebody told you that information. So, for example, I was at a psychic fair in Nanaimo, and I had a psychic come up to me and like pull me aside, and she's like, "Oh, I see you in the hospital. I see something really terrible that's going to happen to you." I'm like, "Okay, well, do you know when this is?" "Oh no, I don't know when. It's just like sometime," right? I'm like, "Do you know what this is?" It's like, "Oh no, you just look really sick." It's like, that was about 14 years ago. Right? It never happened. So just be gentle. Did I scare you with the horror stories enough? Yeah. So, and always remember that like a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. So, find the light within it, because like with any kind of challenge that somebody is facing, it's like, what it's like to go through something really big, or like something that's really heavy, right? Like, our job is to like to help, to be here to guide people, to give them the support that they need, and to just like allow them to naturally wake up, but in their own pace and on their own speed. So you will come across some people that are very guarded and have lots of walls that are up. So just gently tap on them. Because if you like punch through somebody's wall and they're not ready for that wall to come down, it could be really hard on them. Even if it is like truth bomb, it's like, yeah, right? It's like, love bombs are okay. But like truth bombs, just like really make sure as well that they have like proper support afterwards. So it's like, asking those questions. Oh, do you have a really good friend that you talk to? Do you have like a parent or somebody that you can be able to process with? Because that's also something important. If when there are really big revelations, and like this can happen, right? It's amazing what happens when we like open up to the power of spirit. But when there's big revelations, it's just nice to know that they're going to be supported through that. And then, of course, confidentiality. So, don't be telling your friends. You never know who knows who. And that's it's hard sometimes, because like you become a keeper of secrets, right? Because like you're the person that like people are talking to about like really big things. It's okay to seek other professionals, and to ask a like very general, broad, so that you're getting support too, because like some stuff, it can be really heavy. But just keep names out of it. Keep like details like their job, or like anything that can be traced back to them. Just so that like you can really know that like they know that the information that they're sharing with you and what comes forward is like really kept quiet, because it can be really embarrassing for people sometimes too. So any questions about ethics, Lanny?
Yeah, so I had a lady. I just started working in the nutrition department at the grocery store. So I have a herbology background, and I'm just coming to the end of a natural product advisor course. So the lady that started training me, she just turned to me within the first hour, and she goes, "Oh, can I do an astrology chart on you?" She goes, "Something's telling me I have to do a chart." So I say, "Oh, sure, yeah." I give her my birthday, tell her what time I was born. Then she, maybe, I don't know, 5 weeks later, comes back to me and says, "Oh, I got your chart. Let's get together." And she tells me the lady that's my manager right now. So right now it's just me and the manager. Everybody else has deserted us or quit. And she said, "Oh, she's going to get very sick. And it's a good thing you came, because you're going to have to take over this department when she gets sick." And so now every time my manager's like, "Oh, my stomach," I'm like, "Hey, go get something to eat, take care of yourself." And like, it's almost making me paranoid about like what's happening to her, So
Yeah.
like what do you do with that?
Yeah. Well, the next time that she asks to do an astrology chart, you say no.
Well, yeah, but I had no idea that she was going to be like that not what I wanted to hear type person. And she used to run the department. Now she's retired.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she just retired like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. Well, that must be kind of nice. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. So now like my boss, like the lady that retired, she just worked part-time for a few years. The lady that's my boss is not the greatest manager. You know, she has to go for coaching with a personal coach. And she says, "Oh, I got to train you on things." You know, the store manager says, if I get sick or something like that, I'm like, or if you just want to go on holidays, maybe you just want to take time. Like stop putting, everyone's just putting this out. And it's almost like everyone wants this poor woman to be sick, you know? But
yeah.
what, like, what, I've never told my manager, I said, "Oh, I had astrology done by, you know, this lady." And she said, "Oh, you got to watch her. She'll tell you all the negative stuff."
Mm.
I'm like, "Yeah, she did." But I didn't want to tell my manager at the time now, right?
And that's probably one of those things that you don't want to be telling her.
No, I don't. No, I'm here to help you. So if you don't feel good, you tell me what you need me to do, and just, but have something good to eat, nourish your soul, like, you know. But like, yeah, I feel weird knowing that, or like
No,
I fear being told that.
for sure. And so like it's kind of like once you know something, you can't really unknow it. But at the same time, if you also know that this woman is a little bit of a like if she's only like a really like negative kind of person, you could like also just be like, I don't choose to believe this.
Okay.
Right? Never take anything that you like hear in a reading as verbatim from anybody. Right? It's possibility.
Okay.
Everything is possibility. Nothing is like absolute truth. If somebody tells you that they know the absolute truth about like, you know, like a situation or God or the afterlife, I'd kind of be like really skeptical.
Okay.
So, you know, that's the thing is that like, you know, when you are like, you know, reading for each other, if there's something that doesn't resonate, because something that resonates, you'll kind of feel it in your body. If like, you know, if it doesn't resonate, throw it away. You don't have to keep it. It's like, you know, you don't have to carry that burden anymore. Like, you know, because essentially that's kind of what that lady put on you is like, you know, that burden of knowing that information, right?
Yeah.
So just that's why it's really important. Be gentle, be kind. You know, do your best to like to focus on the positive. There's like going to be there's cards that are challenging, right? Like if you see like anxiety cards or like stress cards that come up, like it's okay to talk about that. And sometimes the best way to talk about it is like more like forming it in a question, right? It's like, oh, like I'm picking up that you're feeling like really stressed out, you know, the Nine of Swords pops out, right? Or like, you know, you get the Seven of Cups. It's like, oh, you've been really busy lately, right? So, you know, but just kind of again, like easing into it. And I always find like the best thing to do is kind of circle around. And then like, you know, eventually you're gonna get to the center, but you're gonna get there gently rather than just going like straight through to the center. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, cool. So anything about ethics? Anything else about ethics that you'd like to comment or question? No? Okay, awesome. Moving right along. Cool. So this is the list on how to begin a tarot reading. I think this is actually the last slide, and then we're going to get into doing some readings, which is going to be really fun. So the first step is welcoming the querent. So the querent is the other word for client or person that you're reading for. Introducing yourself. So like, hi, I'm Andrea. I'm a psychic medium. Tell them what you do. So that is like, you know, the little spiel that you give people. You know, I'm a clairvoyant, a clairaudient, and clairsentient, and I like to tap into the universe to bring through messages of love and light. So it's like finding your little like 3-sentence introduction. Next, we clear the cards. So we're giving them a knock. We're giving a little shuffle. We say our prayer or setting the intention. And it can be really simple. You can just say like, I'm setting the intention that all the messages are of love today. I'm setting the intention that I'm going to speak truth of spirit. It can be really simple, but just like setting the intention will help to focus the energy on where you want it to go. I always ask if they have any questions or topics that they like to cover. And so this helps me know what kind of spread that we're going to be working on. If somebody is like really just wanting to talk about their relationship, there's a relationship spread. Most times people are going to want to talk about like relationship and career. those are the big two. And so I've got a spread for that. And then like, you know, sometimes there's somebody's having like a challenge. They're like, you know, I'm trying like, you know, like really hard to like, you know, lose 20 pounds. And for the life of me, I can't lose 20 pounds. And so we've got like a challenge spread that comes up as well. So we're going to take a look at that. So you can choose your spread and then you select the cards, lay them out on the table, flip them over, and voila. Awesome. Easy as pie. 3.1248. No. Awesome. So this is where practice comes in, because like, you know, once you do this a few times, you're going to get more and more comfortable with it every time. I always say that it takes about, you want to do like a practicum of about 50 readings before like you start to like really get out there. You can, and even when you're doing your practicum, like, you know, it's okay to ask for donations if you wish, or you can do it for free. And then once you finish your practicum of like, you know, those 50 readings, then you can think about like charging and kind of going from there. But Spirit will teach you so much. The people that come to you and that choose to get a reading from you, what you're going to find is there's going to be a lot of commonalities as to what you're experiencing in your life as well. And I always find it so amazing when that happens, because the answers start coming through and it's like, oh, I have to take my own advice here. So it's a really beautiful opportunity for you to really be able to listen to the information that's coming forward, because there's always going to be a little nugget of gold for you in there. Awesome. Cool. So then we get into the spreads. So this is the spread that I've been using for years and years and years. And I love it because it is really simple. And so what we talk about is that like number one is the past and the present and the future. And if you're really wanting to do just like a really quick reading for somebody, you can use past, present, future, and just do 3 cards. And that it's usually about like 3 minutes a card, kind of like, you know, general rule, about 3 minutes a card. And so I do a past, present, future, and then I do a mind, heart, spirit. And I always like to say the intention. So like, you know, so I'll be like picking the cards and be like, okay, well, the first card is for the past, right? And then I'll put that card. You can either keep all of the cards down or you can flip them as you go. Again, it's like personal preference and like, you know, personal choice that comes forward. So the next one is the mind, heart, and spirit. And so that is tapping into the mental realm. So like what's going on the mind plane. The heart for me is always the center, because it's like, what are we feeling here? What is like, you know, the emotional center? And yeah, so I always put the heart in the middle. And then spirit is like, you know, where are we as part of our soul's journey? What does our spirit think about everything that's going on? And then the last line is the life path. So this is talking about work, career, life purpose, because of course, like, you know, there's some people that are retired, so they're not going to have a job, right? But they're always going to have a purpose. So it's tapping into what that purpose is and what they're learning. Relationships comes up as far as this can be a love relationship. If like family is a big concern, sometimes it's a daughter, you know, these kinds of things. And then finally, we have the life lesson. And so that's what they're learning right now. Because I'm a bit of a wild child, I like a wild card. So that the 10th card that I choose is always like the wild card. It's like, what's outside of the box, right? What is the thing that is like, you know, outside of the box that like, you know, wants attention as well. So what's really cool is that what becomes through this is that the whole past line here, so past, mind, and like life path, that becomes all about mind energy, right? Because our mind, it likes to go in the past. It likes to travel far in the future as well, but the mind is concrete, so it can travel into the past. So we can look at all of this line as far as like information for the past. And then for the mind, we can also connect this to the past, and we can connect it to our life path as well. And then the present is like the heart line, and I look at the heart line that moves through here. And then the future, this is like the spirit or the soul line that comes forward. So you can take a look at like those different patterns that come forward within it. But I love the box spread. I find it's really easy. I'm going to show you the Celtic Cross as well, which is another 10 card spread. But I find it's just a little, like, it's just more to remember. And I like everything laid out in a box for me. So with these like 10 cards, I usually find that this is about a half an hour for like, for a reading is about approximately how long it takes to go through all of these cards. Awesome. So moving right along. Oh, does anybody have any questions? Looks pretty easy. Okay.
I do.
When,
So this may seem like a silly question, but the past, present, future, that's on top, and the life path relationship, that's on the bottom, sort of close to you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for clarifying. Carolyn, did you have a question?
yeah, when do you read the wild card? Is that at the end?
Yeah, I usually pick it as the 10th card. And I like the number 10 because it's like, it's the completion of the cycle, but also the new beginning. So that's kind of what feels wild for me for like the 10th card. And again, like if you wanted to do a 3-card spread that was just mind, heart, spirit, if somebody was just wanting to tap into like, what's going on with them, what they're feeling, what their experience is, mind, heart, spirit is great. And I also divide this up into 6-card spreads. So if I want to do a 15-minute reading, you can pick like, past, present, future, mind, heart, spirit, or you could do mind, heart, spirit, life path, relationships, life lesson. You could do past, present, future, and then life path, relationships, life lesson too. So you can use those and kind of, switch them up depending on the person that you're reading for or just what you feel called to do in the moment. Awesome. Cool. All right. So next is the 4-card spread. So this is when there is a current challenge or obstacle. And what's great with spreads is that you can do like one spread and get to the end of it and they could have another question and you can just do another spread, right? So you can just like lay it out again. So this is if somebody has like a specific like question or like obstacle or challenge that they're facing, this is a really great spread to do. So the first card is like the situation. So what's going on? What kind of situation are they in? Where's their heart at? What's their mind doing? What's the main energy that's coming forward in influencing this? And then I always like to talk about what is the challenge, right? Because like sometimes the challenge is patience, but sometimes the challenge isn't doing enough. So, and like the cards will tell you, okay, what is it that like, is the current challenge here that you need to work with? And then we talk about guidance. So this is like the way in which the cards are telling us in order to move forward and be able to overcome this obstacle. So you can call this guidance or like, how do I overcome this obstacle? You can put that intention to that card. And then finally, we have the outcome. Sometimes we get to have play over the outcome. Sometimes we do not. Right? So like, like if it's to do with like a relationship, we do not have control over anybody else and anybody else's decisions or what's going through their mind or anything like that. But we do have full control over what's going on with us and like, our choices and our decisions. So again, we're talking about potential energy. So there is the potential for this to happen. And you'll kind of get a feeling like how strong that potential is. Awesome. Any questions about the 4-card spread? No, okay, beautiful. Moving right along. We've got two more, and then I'll show you another one next week. It's an astrology spread, and it's really great for January and the start of the year. The other fun thing to do is you can make up your own spreads. You can absolutely get like super creative and like come up with any of your own spreads. Do you like circles? Put your cards in a circle. Do you like triangles? Do a triangle spread, right? And I really encourage you to get creative with this and to like find that feeling that just kind of like feels right. So just know that these are guidelines that come forward, and just something to start and something to practice on to begin. Awesome. So this is another popular one, relationships, right? Lanny, did you have a question?
Well, yeah, when you say make up your own, then what, like, so say we're going to do a triangle, we just say what each card's going to stand for type of thing, or how do we make it up?
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So it's just putting an intention to the card. That's all a spread does, is that it just tells the positioning of what the card is going to be telling. So that helps to give context to the meaning of the cards.
Okay, got you. Thanks.
It's really helpful. Because like, you know, our lives are so huge. And so by kind of like narrowing it down, like this is what's going on in your head right now, right? It's like, you know, it allows us to like really tap into that specific area. This is what's going on with work. So I always recommend doing, setting an intention to what you want the card to mean. So here, this is the relationship spread. So this is really helpful if somebody is asking about their partner, maybe they're asking about their child, maybe they're talking about their mother, right? And they're just wanting to get more clarity into the relationship and where each person is coming from. So there are some people that do not believe in doing third-party readings. Does anybody here know what a third-party reading is? Okay, this is reading for a person that is not present. But I feel in the context of like relationships that sometimes it's really important because people just need to know where that person's coming from. We're not trying to spy on them. We're just trying to get a greater understanding in order to help the person that's in front of you. So again, that is a choice that you have to make, whether or not you choose to be able to read for somebody that isn't present. But in the case of like, if somebody is married to somebody, I don't know, it sounds like applied consent to me, right? Or if they came out of your body, I mean, I think that you should be able to tap into their energy. But, you know, again, it's one of those things to make that choice, whether it's something that feels right to you or not. And you will know this by doing it. Because spirit has this really weird way of like zapping you when you are going in the wrong direction. Or if something is not right, or you're saying the wrong thing, you might get a little, okay, right? And so it's not a hard zap or anything. It's just kind of a little bit of like, hey, wake up. Kind of a feeling. So you'll know if it's right or not. And if you have any doubts, you can ask spirit for permission if that makes you feel better, or you can ask their spirit for permission to be able to read. But like usually once, like, you know, especially if it's a mother and their child, it's just like once they know, it's going to make them feel a lot better, and that it's actually going to have a positive effect on the child, because the mother is going to have a little bit of like insight and knowledge. But again, it's up to you. So what we do is we draw person one, we draw a card for the mind, we draw a card for the heart, and then we draw a card for the soul. And then we do the same thing with person number two. And so this is what their connection is together, what their minds, how their minds connect, how their hearts connect, and how their spirit or their souls connect. And then we ask for the connection card is like, what do they bring out in each other? What is the quality of this connection? What is the purpose, or what is the reason that like these two souls have chosen each other in this lifetime? Cool. Awesome. Any questions? Okay, moving right along. And this is the Celtic Cross. So this is another 10 card spread. And like, this is a really great spread. Like, don't get me wrong, it's really great spread. This is the one that's been used by occultists and like pagans for, a few centuries now. And it does have like, a lot of power with it. So what we see in the center is that we have one card, and then we have a card that is crossed. So this is where the Celtic cross comes from. So I'm just going to show you with this deck of cards as well, just so that you can kind of get another picture of what that looks like there. So with that, we have the first card that we choose. That is the one that's straight up and down. This is the situation. So this is where the person is at, what's going on with them, what's the situation, right? And then the obstacle, that's the card that we put on over top. And so that is like, what is like, what's in your way? What do you need to be aware of? What's the current challenge, right? And then on top, we have the goals card. So this is like what they're hoping to achieve. These are the things that are known in this situation, right? And then the root card is like, what is like, it's like a foundation kind of card, but it's like, what's the underlying influences? And so sometimes these are the things that aren't known. This is like information that the subconscious is carrying. And then you get like, it's really nice because you get the past, present, future, because the situation is always going to be the present. And then we go into the side cards that come forward here. So the first one is like attitude. So how do you feel about this situation, right? Like, if you are having like a heck of a time, like finding a new car because they're all beaters, how are you feeling about that? What's your attitude? Do you believe that you're going to find a new car, right? So it's the attitude that we carry. And then the next one is our environment or people. So this is like what people around us think or believe. Are we being supported in our choices? Like we're looking for a car. Is anybody helping us find this car? Do our friends believe that we're going to find that car for the price that we're looking for? And then like number 9 is the hopes and fears. So in the car situation is like, is it going to be a beater? Am I going to buy it, like drive it for like 2 days and have like the engine fall out in the middle of the street, right? Or like, the hope is like, is this going to be an amazing car that like, is actually going to get me from point A to point B? And then of course the outcome is what happens, or the possibility of what happens, or the most likely thing to happen in the situation. Cool, makes sense? A little bit?
It's pretty complicated, that one.
Yeah, for sure. So I'd recommend, and I think that what we should do to start off is that we're gonna take a look at, we're gonna do the 10 card spread, but we're gonna break it into 6. 6 is a really nice number to be able to start off with, because I'm going to put everybody into breakout rooms. And then you're going to do a little reading for your partner. And so remember, ask them their permission. Do I have permission to read for you? Right? Be kind and be gentle. It's very important. And if anybody has any challenges with anybody else, please send me a message after class, okay? Because just so that you know that you're not alone, and I'm here and I can talk to you and I can help you out. So let's do let's maybe like a past, present, future, and then how about life path, relationships, and life lesson? Sound good? Awesome. Do you guys want to take a second and write that down, just so that you have it there for when we go into breakout rooms? Okay, beautiful. So I'm just going to stop the share here.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have that?
I'm not quite yet done.
Oh, let me put it back on here.
Thanks.
There we go.
I'm pretty slow.
No problem.
wanted to mention, I have to leave for sure by 7:55, so I don't want to mess up anything when you do the breakout room.
Oh,
If you
okay.
finish at 8.
Let's
Sure.
see.
So whoever is with Gail, come back to the main room when Gail has to go, and then I'll work with them because I'm going to randomize it. So, but thank you for letting me know. I really appreciate that. Awesome, and just let me know when you're ready.
Almost.
No problem.
I'm just trying to write down like everything. Like, well, not everything, but I'm almost done.
But yeah, this box spread, I love it. I use it all the time. It was just so much easier than the Celtic Cross. And I like the fact that you get like card connections because like you see how like all of these cards like connect. And it kind of looks like what is it, tic-tac-toes as well. Awesome. Cool. Fantastic. Here we go. So we're going to go into rooms here. Beautiful. Is this working? 1, 2. Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'm gonna wait. Here we go. Move to 3. And then Gail, you can just stay in the room with me or I will pull you back in, okay?
Yeah.
Awesome. I thought we had even numbers, but I think we're missing somebody. So yeah. Okay. So what you want to do, go through the steps and do like a little mini reading for the other person. Okay. Just give it a try. Just like go for it. Just like put your best foot forward, find your fearlessness, speak from your heart, connect with spirit, and most importantly, just have fun. Find ways to giggle and laugh because like that's going to like move the energy in really beautiful ways. Okay. Awesome. Here we go. Hi, Gail.
Yeah, I thought I'd have to leave, so I got a lesson at 8 o'clock, a music lesson, and I thought I can't change it, so I'll just get as much as I can out of this, and that'll be that.
Absolutely. For sure.
The neat house hunting I see, that's pretty neat.
What's that?
I've been following you on Facebook, and you're doing some house hunting right now.
Oh, house hunting. Yes. Sorry, it's your audio's cracking up a little bit, so I'm having a. Yeah, we're looking for a new house.
Such a big deal, eh?
For sure. We found this awesome house. I really, really want it. Offers are in on Friday. And so I'm just like, please, please, please. So we'll see what happens.
I'll be thinking of you. Oh, it's always such a big step.
For sure. Yeah. That perfect place will come up. I have faith.
There's always a reason, even you can't see it, but I've been through this. There's always a reason.
Absolutely. I really trust that the universe is going to bring us the right place. And I'm willing to be patient and I'm willing to play this stupid, crazy real estate game that is in the market right now because it's a seller's market. So it's hard to know exactly how much you need to bid, right?
Well, how's this in Victoria? Like, how much are you looking at spending for a house there? Are you in the millions?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're doing an intergenerational house. So we're taking our money and we're combining it with my husband's parents.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like making it a little bit easier to be able to afford that.
It's the only way. I don't know how else a person could do it.
You get a condo.
Yeah.
That's and then you get build equity in the condo. And then, or you move to a smaller center, right? Like we could probably afford something in Parksville or north, but it's like Victoria is like either you get a condo or you get like a ridiculous mortgage. And we're just just doing what we can. And but there's more and more coming out on the market. That was like the big issue, is that there was just nothing on the market, but now there's some really great things that are coming out.
Oh, that's good. That's
Ah.
good. But it's such a big step for you. Wow.
Well, do you want to do a 3-card spread for me about it?
I can try and do it really quick. I've got about 10 minutes here.
Okay.
All right. So we're looking at, I'm going to shuffle first, right?
You got it, for sure. I'm just going to turn on my light. I didn't realize it was going to get so dark. There we go.
Yeah, I didn't know if we were going to try this, so I didn't want to. Okay, I'm shuffling 3 times. Not a good shuffler, but I'll do this real quick and watch the clock. Okay, come on, you. Yeah, I like these spreads. I could see myself with that 4-card spread. Okay, one more time. I like that too, the definitive number 3.
I like the number 3. It's like, the triple goddess, 3 times a charm. Like, it's a really nice number. It's very creative.
Okay, so my permission, can I do this reading for you? Okay, and we're going to cut it into 3. Okay, let's go like that. Jeez, I'm not very good cutter. Okay, 1, 2. Okay, very uneven pile. Now we're taking 1 off the top of each. Is that what you're thinking?
You can do that. That's a great way to do it.
Okay, so there's your past. Present. I should have done a larger prayer. Future. Okay. So for your past, we have 9 of Cups. Everything's upright. 9 of Cups. And it's the wish card. And I'm reading a little bit from the book as well. So obviously, your deepest desire is granted, a problem is solved, but this is in your past. Satisfying sexual relationship. Ooh.
Bam, chicka, bam, bam.
Goals are achieved, dreams come true. Take time to enjoy your success. So it's like a success in the past. Now, would this be you coming into the money in order to buy a home? Don't know. Present is the Magician.
Ooh.
And I mean, from what I'm just going more by my gut. The present Magician makes me think all kinds of things could be happening. Like, I'm not going to read off the book here. I'm just thinking all kinds of things could be happening to you right now. That's what I'm thinking. All kinds of avenues coming at you. Then the past and future. The future is justice, which tells me what's meant to be is going to be what's meant to be. When I look at it, read it, it's like the card of integrity and fairness, of course. And take responsibility for your own actions, every action you take. So, I mean, what's meant to be is going to be meant to be. Maybe, I guess I worry about buying a house with others. I would worry about that if it were me. So yeah, you've got 9 of Cups, past, Magician, present, justice for the future. So I don't know.
Cool. I'm hoping that justice card is the contract that I'm going to be signing of my new house.
I guess when I look at it, I see justice. I think what's meant to be will be.
Mm-hmm.
But is that right? I don't know.
Absolutely. If that's what you feel, then that's the message.
Yeah, but I mean, when you see justice, you think legal forms. So maybe there's a house coming. Wouldn't that be? And you'll know by Friday, is that right?
For this house, yeah. There's we're still continuing to look, but like this house is just like, it's like 2 blocks from the ocean. It's got a pond in the backyard. It's like my in-laws actually want to live in the basement, which is kind of crazy, but it's really nice and like done up. And so they're like, oh yeah, you guys can have the upstairs floor. And we're like, okay, yeah, no problem. Sounds good.
Well, too, when you've got the little guy, you've got Xander, it's actually going to be super helpful. It might sound like, the relatives, but it might be super helpful with the little guy.
Mhm.
You know, I really am hoping for you because it'd be pretty neat, especially with your, you know, your singing on the side, your business. It'll give you a lot of freedom there if you've got the relatives
Mhm.
and you're out on tour,
For
you know.
sure. And they're starting to get to the age where they're needing a little bit of help. So like, you know, I think it's just going to be nice for my husband to be close by too, so that, you know, he can kind of just, you know, they're not bad yet, but like, you know, it's, you know, they're getting in their 70s, and my father-in-law is going blind, which is really hard. And like he's had a really rough year. So yeah, so it'll just be kind of nice just to be a little bit closer to them and closer to family, and we'll just have to, like, you know, work things out as we work things out, right? So yeah, and my husband's an only child, so we're not having to deal with any kind of like sibling
That's
stuff.
kind of a blessing.
Yeah.
That can be very difficult. I've seen a lot.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, deaths, they're just awful, right? It's just like, you know, and like trying to sort out like, you know, like money between family. It's just, it's awful. Like I've experienced it. I've seen it, like, you know, I've read for people going through that. It's really hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But now you've got me thinking what's going to happen Friday because of that justice card.
Hey, if it comes to you, let me know. Cause like it's funny because I got the happiness card today when I pulled a reading. Because I was like practicing all of the spreads today. So I got that happiness card, and the justice card came up as well. So I think I'm gonna have to take a look at maybe some karma that needs to be cleared too. See if there's any like, you know, like things that need to be taken care of.
I'm looking at the clock and thinking I better go. I would love to stay
Yeah.
on, but I better go, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Beautiful. Sounds good.
Okay, I'll watch for you Friday.
Okay,
Bye.
lots of love.
Bye.
Bye. Good. Everybody's just in breakout rooms right now.
Oh, okay, cool. So a few more minutes?
Yep.
Okay, I want to go to 50s.
Okay.
Should I wait till you're done?
That would be awesome.
Okay, cool. How long are they breakout rooms?
Probably have another 5 minutes.
How's it going?
Good.
Good.
Yeah. Hello. You guys are back. Fantastic. How was it?
Well, it was good, but I thought I saw a message across the top that said go back.
Yeah.
Oh, I would always switch it up.
Oh, switch it up.
Oh, that's okay. I
Oh.
called everybody back. It's time to call it in anyways. So like it was a good reminder for me.
Well, what we did, Lani, is it okay if I say what we did? Yeah. Or we said, what we decided to do, because I'm not good at, like I see a card and I still have to look it up and stuff.
Okay.
So we wrote what we each picked for each other, and then we're gonna meet, by Zoom or Facebook, like in 48 hours or 72 hours, and we have time to do the definitions and then do the card, and then we'll do the reading.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
So you guys are going to do an analysis.
Yeah, we're going to take our time and rather than flip through our notes and go, wait a minute, and what's this, and just kind of when we got time.
Okay, sure. Awesome. Welcome back, everybody. Jan, how was it? Oh, you're muted. Can't hear you yet. As soon as you come back into the room, it mutes you again.
Yeah, I know. I should have to find that mute button,
Sure.
It was very good. It was very good. It was very enlightening. And, it's just that I didn't feel guilty about picking up the book to look what something meant.
For sure.
Because that's the only way we'll learn, right? And I also used my cheat sheet. So, but I found it very interesting, and I felt that it's kind of cool. I really did. Yeah.
Awesome. Carolyn, how was it for you?
It was good. I felt like I was just getting warmed up and getting into it. I didn't feel like enough time, but then it's because, I'm learning and it's all slower than it would be if I was comfortable with it. But yeah, it's really fun. I liked it.
Beautiful.
Also, still trying to remember the meanings of the cards.
Totally. So next week, what we're going to try to do is like throw away the meanings of the cards and just look at the pictures. Just look at the pictures, see what you feel. Whatever you feel, you talk about. If you get stuck, ask a question. Well, we're going to work on that. We're building, right? So we're just like starting with today, and then like next week we're going to be doing more readings again. So we're building up to it. Lena, how was it for you?
I took too long in my reading, I guess, because we ran out of time.
Okay, that happens. You got into it.
Yeah. I feel bad because then she didn't have a chance to read. She threw the cards, didn't have a chance to read. I didn't realize it would be so short.
Yeah, I'll leave more time next time.
I think I shuffle. I was worried about the shuffling for the other person rather than having them do it, and I took too long, I think.
Okay. So the other thing that you can do, like, this just kind of just came to mind is like, ask them to pick a number. So Lena, pick a number between 1 and 5.
9. Oh, 4.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. This is your 4th card.
Oh, okay.
Right. And then pick another number, and then you can do it that way. And then that way, if that feels more comfortable to you, for like getting them to pick the cards themselves, that may be another way. The other thing that people do is that you can shuffle and you can get them to say, okay, well, just like tell me when to stop shuffling. Right.
Oh.
So just tell me when to stop. And then when they say stop, it's like, okay. And then and then put the cards into like 3 piles that way. And go from there. So there's many workarounds to like, to find the way. It's just finding what feels comfortable to you. That's all.
Okay. I'll get the person to tell me when to stop. That's perfect.
Awesome. Cool. Cindy, how was it for you? Oh, you're muted.
Said Alina is awesome. She did an awesome job.
Thanks.
Good job.
Too long. Yeah, she
but that's okay. She was really, really good.
Beautiful. So it's just like getting around a bicycle again, get into the flow. Yeah. And like, it's really interesting when you start to pick up like where some of your blocks are, right? Because like it is like it takes an incredible amount of courage. It's just like going up on stage and singing karaoke, right? Because like you're like in that moment and you've got these cards, right? And like it's just like, and now go, right? So it is absolutely intimidating to begin with. And like, you know, so it's okay to feel like a little like nervous, you know, it's okay. And so what happens is that as you do it and as you get comfortable and you find your style and you work with that and you have like your routine that like, you know, that your ritual around the cards, then you get into habit. And once you start forming habits, then it starts to flow a lot easier. So we are going to be doing readings at the end of every session for this month, because I feel like doing readings is actually the absolute best way to really like practice and get a feel for things. And so, yeah. And the fun part is that like, you know, you can come in next week and like bring a question for your reading at the end, right? Have an intention about like something that you want to know about. It is way easier to read for somebody that knows what they want to talk about. That rather than somebody that comes in and is like, yeah, I'm not, whatever you want, whatever you want to tell me, I'm open to, right? And everyone here is learning. So we're all honoring that. We're honoring like where we are in the journey, and we're just allowing, because it's just, again, that process of unfolding. And like, you know, every week is going to get a little bit easier and a little bit easier. So just honor wherever you're at. And like, you know, like for now, like, you know, for the last class, I'm going to challenge all of you to be off book. Okay. But like till then, yes, Lenny.
So this deck of cards that I got from you doesn't have a booklet.
Awesome. Even better.
For you, yeah, this is great. For me, can I just get a booklet from another deck and
Absolutely.
what it says about the Seven of Swords and like it kind of goes to like it's the same for each deck, or
they're slightly different, but like tarot does follow a defined system, so there should be a lot of similarities. So if there's like a book that like really resonates for you, you can absolutely take that book and apply it to this. And then as you get to know the deck, you're going to see of like, oh yeah, you know what? Like that totally works, or I can totally see how that fits. So that's the great thing about tarot, is that it is a defined system. So like, you know, unless you're working with some of the more out there decks that really start to change things up, that like, drive me crazy. It's, you know, it's one of those things that it'll get easier, you know, as you go with it. And also use the cheat sheets. So if you have those cheat sheets from the past classes, that's another really great way, so that you're just like looking at the notes, because like, you know, trusting, that's what we're learning, right? How do we trust? How do we just allow? How do we like, you know, just like bring it through and just like speak from our hearts and like, you know, speak about like, you know, what's going on. So yeah, but you'll get it. And if you want to use a book to start, like go for it. But I will challenge you by the end to get off book.
the little book that comes with a deck, because I bought another deck because, well, I have an obsession about buying things, but and so I can use this. But when I'm looking at it, I realized that says water and wind instead of cups and swords. So now I've got to learn something else. Because when you were doing the teachings, I think I joined in the court cards.
Okay.
So I'm lost as to what like 1 through 10 mean.
And that's all good. Like you'll pick it up as you go and use the pictures. That's what's great, is like use the pictures, right? Like, you know, because like if you pick a card, like, you know, so I have the three of wands here. The first question, like, you know, does this look positive or negative?
Oh. Positive, I think.
Yeah. Nice bright colors, you know, You look at it and you don't go, oh, right? It's not like the devil card that comes up, right? Where you go, ah, and it's just like, oh, there's like, there's a nice flow, like, oh, there's a path there, and like the person's on their path, right? Like, well, that's a pretty cool thing, right? You got some wands, so there's like some pillars or like markers that are in place, like, we've got some like, it's like, look at all this, like, is that like a flower on top of his head? Is something blossoming? Is that like inspiration rushing in? Right. So like, there's like, that way to be able to read without having to know the meaning. Yeah. The 3 of Wands. And so, and then like, some of the systems, like, this, mine has the labeling on it. So it says virtue. So this is like, I read this card as a creative self-expression card. And like that meaning I actually got from the Mother Peace Tarot, because I felt that is the closest connection for me of what the 3 of Wands represents. So you can absolutely take other systems and like, put them together with your card, because it's just finding what it means to you.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Awesome. So do we have any other questions? No. Okay, fantastic. So your homework is to practice these spreads. You can do it for yourself. Totally cool. If you have like a friend that you can read for, awesome. And I'm going to dare you to like do your best to pick up all the information first that you can kind of feel, and then try the book after. Right? So use the book as confirmation, but not as the absolute. Does that make sense? Because like what you have to say from your heart in the moment, that's what's beautiful. That's what's really beautiful. And like, it's just that loving intention that you put forward, and that will bring you all of the answers that you're looking for. Is like when you have a clear intention to really like help that other person, to like really want to like hold space and like, hold energy for them to, to be able to thrive. Like if those kinds of intentions really go a long way. It is like the absolute basis of like, of all healing, is just doing things with love. And when we do things with love, then it's really hard to go wrong. Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone. And so next week, same time, 6:30, where we'll be here. Bring your cards, bring your cheat sheets. If you don't have cheat sheets, make some cheat sheets. That's another really good way of doing it as well. And we're gonna be doing some more practicing. And then next week we are talking about what's on here. Let me see. Pardon me. Just going back to my notes. No, I don't want to rate Canva's experience. Oh, understanding reversals. Fun. Okay. Yeah. Reversals are really cool. And what you can do with the reversals is awesome, because you can absolutely do reversals, or you can absolutely not do reversals. So the main thing is that like, what I'm wanting to show you is like a broad overview so that you can make your own choices. Okay, because that's what the important part is that you decide what feels right for you, because that's how everybody else has to do it. And like that act of like making those decisions, that's what's also going to help you to be a better reader. And you can like make the decision, today I'm reading reversals. And then the next day you can be like, tomorrow I'm not reading reversals. I'm going to turn all those cards up, and so they're looking right at me, right? And again, there's no wrong way. There's only what works for you and how you program your deck. Because that's what we're working towards, is like, with each deck, you programming the information in there as to what the meaning is for you.
Is that the whole session, or is there going to be something else besides reversals?
We're going to do more reading for each other.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And we'll be like weaving in with that. And then we're going to be doing, I think, more of like a group kind of session as well. So we're really going to get into playing more with the cards. So I'm hoping that like, because the reversals, I mean, that's about a 15-minute lesson. But I think it's the real, like, the real beauty is like, working with it and just testing it out and playing with it and like seeing what information that we can draw from spirit. Awesome. Cool. Well, I will see you guys next week. Till next time, lots of love. Bye.